Welcome to the Fearless Female Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Katarina Kormas. This is a podcast for women who are ready to break free from the 9-to-5 and confidently create a blended life that feels free, fulfilling, and fully aligned. Here, we're all about building a lifestyle that fits you, combining business, career, family, passions, and purpose into one beautifully unboxed life. Through mindset shifts, inspiring stories, and real conversations, you'll learn to live and lead fearlessly. Tune in for solo episodes and interviews with women doing life and business their way, boldly, creatively, and without apology. If you're desiring time freedom, financial freedom, and the freedom to live with purpose, you are in the perfect place. Hello, hello, my lovelies. Guess what today is? It is my birthday. You know I'm going to be getting myself some treats today, and I thought, what a perfect day to pop on here and share my birthday with you. So, yay, here we are. You might be wondering how old I am, and I am very proud to say that I am 46 years old. I know. I can't believe it. I still sometimes think about it. I'm like, where did the first 46 years go? I still feel 36, and I am extremely grateful for all those people out there that I meet along the way that say I still look 36. So whether they mean it or not, I'll take it. I am very appreciative of anybody that thinks I'm younger. I pride myself on that. But seriously, holy cow, how life has changed so much since I was actually 36 years old. I mean, it feels like yesterday, but also such a long time ago. I really am, though. I really am so grateful for the past 10 years, and I really have changed so much. Like, who even was that girl? I look back at her and I think, oh, bless her little heart. She had no idea what was coming. So exactly 10 years ago today, I had just adopted my sweet puppy, Chocolate. I had had him for about 3 weeks. I had absolutely no idea what a wild ride that was going to be and what absolute heartache I would feel just 9 years later, having to say goodbye to him, to my sweet best friend, who brought me so much joy, more joy than I ever thought was possible. I always wanted a dog. I just never realized how much they could ignite my heart and make me really love some other being in that way. At the same time, so 10 years ago today, I closed on the house that I had built. It was the morning of my 36th birthday at 9 a.m. My parents came with me. We closed on my house. Very exciting. And now fast forward exactly 10 years later, here I am sitting here. I sold my house in January, and I'm so much happier now that I am free from being a homeowner, and I am loving life so much more than I did over the last 10 years. And I look back at that version of me, and I think that she had no idea what was going to happen. She had no idea how the world would change so drastically when COVID hit, how she would feel more bogged down and sad rather than energized in that chapter of her life. How she would close in on herself instead of living an expansive life. I had no idea, because at that moment when I adopted my puppy and I built the house, I thought I was expanding into something. I thought this was the next chapter of growth. And it was obviously growth. I just didn't realize what it was actually going to do. And I'm not one that normally reflects on the past. I honor what happened, but I no longer let it shape where I'm going. Like, it did its work to get me to where I am now, but I am not going to dwell on it. I can't change decisions I made. I can't change what happened. It is what it is. I did the best I could in those moments and who I was at that time. So I actually didn't even consider creating this podcast episode until 2 days ago when I was at the gym and I was working out with my personal trainer. And I've been working with her religiously for a year and a half now, every other week. And in this session on Tuesday, I hit this huge milestone. I had lifted 10,000 pounds during our 50-minute session. 10,000 total pounds in the workout with all the machines I was using. And that just, wow. And the most proud I was, she had started me on a couple weeks ago on this machine called the belt squat. And I had, she adds the weight to the machine and I got to 160-pound squats. That is amazing. And I mean, who am I? Like, who am I? Who am I loving this, like, muscle building gym and these crazy machines that I would never have looked at any other gym? So during the session, my trainer turned to me and said that I should do a podcast about my journey over the last 10 years and how much I've grown and I've changed and how much happier I am. And she's even seen my transformation just in the past year and a half alone. And the transformation didn't happen overnight, or it didn't happen by some miracle. It was some of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. It was conscious actions. It was new habits. It was deeply connecting to who I wanted to become. It was me daring to do things out of my comfort zone. I had to fight to get out of depression and to manage my anxiety. I had to do really, really hard things. I had to work through old limiting beliefs and fears that I resisted confronting for years. I just look back at a decade ago. I can't even believe it's been a decade. But anyway, I just think, who was I? And who the heck am I now? I'm pretty sure that is what I would think if I was the me 10 years ago meeting myself today. Who are you? I would probably wonder how I would have made it through saying goodbye to chocolate. I probably couldn't, even just having him for a few weeks, he was such a big part of my heart and soul. I was so connected to that dog. So I couldn't even imagine looking forward 10 years and being like, I survived his cancer diagnosis. I survived his treatment. I survived having to make the really, really, really hard decision to let him go. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know how I got through it. And I don't think I would have known 10 years ago how I would have gotten through it. And I would wonder at my decision to sell my house. Even though originally when I had built it, I told myself I'd only stay in it for 4 years. But still, I would wonder, especially after saying goodbye to chocolate and all the years I had in that home, how was I able to sell it? And where did my deep desire to move back into the heart of a city like downtown Austin, like where would that come from? I wanted to move away from the city 10 years ago, and now I was like, oh, I want to move back. And I think I would shock myself. I would see myself lifting the amount of weight I lift now, working out in basically this muscle building gym, and wonder, what happened to me? That I'm loving it so much. And that's the thing, right? The growth that we don't anticipate. This evolution that happens in spite of our plans. The potential we have that we don't even realize because we're dreaming with all these restrictions or carrying around all these old beliefs that weren't allowing us to see what's possible. We have this idea about who we are when we're always so much more than we can ever imagine. And the evolution just happens. And I think about that home that I built. It came about because the American dream is to own property and own a house. And I held that belief that I I didn't know I wouldn't have arrived if I didn't buy a house, right? I I had to do that thing. That was like a box to check. And I was proud of myself for doing it. I think it was the right time. I was tired of paying rent. But I also, after buying the house, held on to that belief that I couldn't sell it. I couldn't sell it and move back to an apartment because that would mean I failed. And I worked so hard to have arrived. And now, if I sold it, oh my gosh, I can't even fathom that. That's a failure. And I let that story play in my head for too long. I definitely overstayed my welcome as a homeowner, for sure, because I had so deeply rooted myself in the belief that I succeeded because I owned a home. It really became a part of my identity, and I couldn't imagine who I was without that. And really, like, one of the biggest lessons I learned overall in the past 10 years is magic happens when you release control, when you release your story and you allow other possibilities to creep in. Just opening that door a crack to explore new things, new ways of living, new ideas, new careers, new jobs, new places to live means that you can become so much more than who you are now. It's just like taking the lid off the box you put yourself in and being like peeking out and being like, is there something else beyond what's happening outside? And being open, right? You don't have to actively be looking, but being open. So I've really been, after my trainer said you should do a podcast, I've really been reflecting on my past 10 years over the last few days. Because again, I'll look back over the past year, but I don't tend to look back. Last decade was a decade ago. But it's been kind of interesting to see how much my life has changed and all the valuable lessons that I learned along the way from the things I had to overcome. So I thought I would share with you I think it's 8 lessons I've I've outlined here. The 8 lessons that I've really learned attached to the big changes I made in my life. So I'm going to share them with you just to show you I'm not the only one out there that's having these big transformation year after year after year. You are too. If you really look at who you were a decade ago, I can promise you, you wouldn't recognize her. You'd be proud of her for who she was, but she would so be proud of who you are right now. So lesson number 1 is that I had to learn to stop the struggle. I literally had to stop my struggle spiral. I was in this struggle. Everything was a struggle. My career, my finances, everything was a struggle. I had to pause and I had to decide what was keeping me where I was and what decisions and mindset shifts would move me forward. When I decided to do that, when I got tired of my own bullshit, when I got tired of reliving Groundhog Day over and over again, waking up and feeling like I was on this hamster wheel, when I got tired of it and I said, no, stop, there has to be another way of looking at things, that's when I made some of the hardest decisions. And the biggest one was my finances and my home. After COVID, I had lost my massage business. I had basically lost my income. My debt increased because I was charging my daily income, my daily expenses on a card. I wasn't making enough on unemployment. And my home was costing more and more to maintain as the years went on. My taxes went up. Things had to be repaired as my house got older. And the prices for like home maintenance started to increase. My car died and my 16-year-old car died and I had to buy a new one at the height of that whole car shortage. So I paid way more than I should have for my car. Chocolate got cancer and his healthcare costs cost between $20,000 and $30,000 for that year. I just felt like I was drowning. I felt like every dollar I made was going towards bills, the house, the debt. I would start to make more and more money, and it just felt like I could never get out from under it. And I had to recognize that my money mindset was stuck in lack. I was in this loop that wasn't enough. There wasn't enough. There wasn't enough. I was stuck in this mindset of like hemorrhaging money instead of attracting money and investing money. I didn't I was so everything was like I got to pay for all this stuff. I got to pay for this stuff. I wasn't in the mindset of like I also have to make my money grow. So I had to make the decision of what I wanted to experience. I wanted to feel money expand. I wanted it to grow. I wanted to feel financially safe. I had to look at who I wanted to be 10 years into the future, what I wanted to experience, what I wanted to be doing. And then I had to ask myself, what do I need to change to get there? And I knew I needed to stop feeling like I was stuck, that I had no control, because that was that defeating energy. That was just, soul sucking, soul crushing to think I couldn't fix it. I had to believe that I had the energy and the control for, creating new things and having fun and experiencing the world. I needed to shift that energy. I needed to shift that mindset. And I couldn't when I was so trapped by my home. I had even told a story that like, I can't move to an apartment because Chocolate won't be able to handle it because of his anxiety. But that wasn't true. Chocolate would have been happy to meet other people on walks every day. So I did. After Chocolate passed away, I sold my home that was a part of me for 9.5 years, that I had a wonderful life with Chocolate. And it was hard and it was sad. But now I'm loving apartment living. I love my apartment. It gives me so much financial freedom, time freedom, more life experiences. I'm not sitting here worrying about changing air filters or mowing the lawn or getting the exterminator out or the weed killers or the whatever. I don't have to worry about that stuff. I have that bandwidth to put into my business, to go to my Pilates classes, to go work out, to go downtown, to hang out. I have freedom. It's like I can breathe again. So looking back, I wish I would have sold my house sooner. Hindsight is 2020, right? So I learned to ask myself those tough questions. Is where I am now, how I am now, bringing me closer to what I want for my own life down the line? So that's lesson 1. Lesson 2 is I am strong as fuck. Holy cow, am I strong. I always thought of myself, because I was always very tiny, small little thing. I always thought of myself as like just a tiny little thing. But who am I? I have always loved working out. Always. I did yoga for decades. I trained to be a Pilates instructor. I had countless gym memberships and trainers. And yet I still could only do 5-pound bicep curls. 10 pounds, no joke, were so heavy for me. Like, 10 pounds, I can't. But over the past 10 years, starting when I was like 36, after moving into my home, I started having health issues. I had joint pain and fatigue and brain fog and memory issues. And I actually stopped working out for 2 years straight. I gained weight. My hair started thinning. But I wasn't really paying attention because I was in this battle financially, mentally, and focusing all my attention on making more money and business. And what am I going to do? I'm stuck. And once I sold my home, and this is only in the past 8 months, right? 9 months, I had this bandwidth to focus on my health. I knew I needed to, but I didn't know how. I didn't feel like I had the means or the bandwidth to do it. And I just never knew how much my body needed heavy weightlifting, needed stretching, needed Pilates. It's like my body craves it now. And I went from 5-pound dumbbells to lifting 10,000 pounds in the gym, combining all of the equipment I used this week, 55-pound belt squats, 35-pound standing hip thrusts, 60-pound lat pull downs. Each new weight milestone, right? Like each time I go in there, there's new milestones that I add on. I get to new weights. And this is only in the last year and a half. I no longer feel fragile. I kind of feel like Wonder Woman. Let's just be honest. When my trainer's putting on those weights, I'm like, woo, look at me go. And I realized that I want to go the long haul with this body. I want to get to 95 and still be doing Pilates. I want to be able to carry my groceries. I don't want to be using a wheelchair or a cane. I want to be active. I want to be one of those like older women, in their 90s that are like lifting their own suitcases and walking around Manhattan. I realized that I need to build strength. And I need to take care of my bones and support my joints so I can be doing Pilates in my 90s. I need to be doing that. I think probably because I got older, right? I hit perimenopause. And I now realize, like, saying I want to be thin and I want to be 125 pounds means nothing, right? It's just this superficial number that I obsessed over from high school through college, through my 20s and my 30s. It was like, I need to be a size 2. I need to be a size 4. Why? What would that have given me? I realized how superficial those numbers are. I needed to shift my mindset of seeing myself as small being this ultimate goal. Because the irony is that I gained 17 pounds in the last decade, and I feel so much better about my body than I did back then. I had no self-esteem. I thought I was fat. I was a size 2 or 4. I was extra smalls, and I hated being seen. I look back at her, and I want to just hug her and show her what she's capable of, how amazing her body is. So for me, that's such a big lesson on what this human body is capable of. So lesson number 3 is I can do it and I don't need to be a celebrity. And what I'm talking about is this podcast. This one right here that you're listening to, I started it 8 years ago, and I am 80 podcast episodes in. I took a few hiatuses along the way. But 10 years ago, I thought podcasts were only for famous people or journalists. I never thought it was something I would be capable of doing. I mean, who would even listen to me? I actually wanted to create a digital magazine. That's what I really wanted to do. But I was in this mastermind, and all of the members were starting podcasts, and they encouraged me to do it as well. So I just grabbed my iPhone headphones and started recording, thinking nobody's ever going to listen. I can just delete it and I started with interviewing other entrepreneurs and talk about like the challenging mindset. It didn't matter how many reviews I got, downloads, subscribers, comments. I struggled so much the last 8 years believing it was good enough. It was such a journey. It was every time I put out a podcast episode, I'm like, oh, that was probably boring. Oh, probably nobody's going to be interested in that. Oh, people are not going to think, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to find it. They're not going to listen to the end. But this year was the first year after 8 years that I allowed myself to realize and accept that people like my episodes. I allowed myself to see the growth in my downloads and my subscribers and to fall in love with my podcast. I had to allow myself. I had to think about that. I had to allow myself. I had to give myself permission to like my podcast and believe that people really like listening to it. And I had to believe that I can do it too. I don't need to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I was talking about with actually my personal trainer, we were talking about my stats on my podcast. And I was like, no, they're not 1 million listeners. I don't have 1 million listeners. I don't even have 10,000 listeners. I don't even have 1,000 listeners. I'm okay with that because that's not what I'm trying to do. These are meant for individual ears. These are meant for individual people. I think about my audiences now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have 1,200 people follow me on Instagram. Yeah, if I had 1,200 people in a room, like I can't coach 1,200 people. There's 1,200 people take even a percentage of that takes something away that betters their life. That's my purpose. And so, yeah, I can do it. I don't need to be famous. I don't want to be famous, but I can love my podcast and I can allow other people to love it too. Lesson number 4, I had to learn to be okay with being a great mindset and transformation coach. My confidence now as a coach is at a level I only dreamed about when I went to school to be a coach, which was about 10 years ago. It's like I've finally arrived and feel okay with being great as a coach. And that's a huge, huge, huge milestone for me. Because I spent the last decade being so hard on myself, stuck in comparisonitis, literally scared to be good at what I do. I veered off into business coaching, more technical stuff, which I still do with my clients. But I put more weight on that than I did on the mindset stuff and the transformation stuff, topics and work. And because I was scared. What if I'm good at it? And how insane does that sound to be scared of being good at something? But that was my fear. What if I'm good at this? I didn't know what came after because it came too easy, right? If you're really good, you're listening right now, you probably have talents and things. You might even dismiss them, but you're really good at something that comes easy to you. You probably dismiss it too, or you honor it. And if you honor it, great. I love that for you. I really, really do. I want that for everybody. I want you to know your skills so well that you stand proud that you're really good at it and that you embrace that the things that are good, you're good at, get to feel easeful for you. But in my head, I'm like, well, it's easy. Everybody knows mindset stuff. Everybody knows about limiting beliefs and fears. They can identify those themselves. Until people nope. No. I don't. I didn't even know I had beliefs in my way. I didn't know I needed to shift my mind and challenge my mind. And now I can say, oh my gosh, I've been doing this work for myself for 13 years, 14 years. I get to be good at it. I get to love it. I get to enjoy it. And to allow myself to be good or even great at it, to allow myself and not stop that from being part of my journey. So lesson 5 that I've learned is stop counting out opportunities just because you told yourself you couldn't do it. I became a massage therapist 13 years ago. I worked in spas. I had my own businesses. No matter how much experience I had, I never saw myself as an expert or knowing enough to teach others. Never. I just was like, nope, I don't know enough. But a few years ago, an opportunity opened up and I went for it. And I became the lead massage therapist at a luxury spa. And I never thought I had the skills or experience or knowledge as an LMT, a licensed massage therapist, to hold the lead position. But I've been doing it for 2.5 years. Once again, I had to learn to be okay being good at something. I had to be okay with knowing I knew enough. It's still a mindset struggle. I still struggle with imposter syndrome as a massage therapist. But I am so glad looking back that I didn't let my beliefs and fears stand in the way of saying yes to this new experience, because I have learned so much about myself. Yes, about the job. Yes, about being lead. Yes, about training others, but about myself. And I'm so grateful for that gift that I didn't turn it down. So 36-year-old me, I feel like would be freaking out right now. You're a what? You don't know how to do that? What do you mean? I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that that was part of my journey. Lesson number 6 is I tell myself now, or I know now, that I have to be willing to put my mental health first. And I am proud to say that after years of being depressed and hiding away at home, I'm social, I'm experiencing life, I'm having fun, I'm getting out of my comfort zone, I'm feeling comfortable being seen out in the world. And that's such a huge milestone for me. without realizing it was happening after I bought my home. As I mentioned, I started to retreat within myself. I was going out less. I was hiding away at home. I was using, not having enough money as an excuse to not get out and enjoy myself and even do free things. And yes, of course, part of it was one, I was house poor. Two, I loved being home with chocolate. I loved being home with him. I just would run home from work. I just wanted to be with him. But the other was I was starting to have so many fears. I wouldn't even go for walks for myself. I feared people would judge me because I gained weight. I was scared to make new friends. And after COVID, it got worse. But it started before that. COVID made it exponentially worse. And my vision for my life and my dreams was not aligned with how I was living my life. I wanted more experiences. I wanted to be in relationships. I wanted to be laying on beaches and standing on stages. I wanted to be out in the world, yet I was hiding from the world. And now, I just spent the weekend in downtown Austin with my best friend for my birthday, going to bars and dancing and singing and walking around Town Lake. And I went to this lip lab place, we had fun. They customized a lip color for me. I got to name it. I went two-stepping at Broken Spoke. I did not enjoy two-stepping, but I tried it, so yay. I was laying in the pool with a bathing suit on, which I get so nervous doing. And I was obsessed. I just wanted more of that every single day. I don't want to hide inside anymore. I want to be out with where I want to, like Ariel says, I want to be where the people are. Um, but it took active changes to my life. Going to the gym and getting a personal trainer was the first step. Then getting hotel rooms in downtown Austin every month. That gets me out and about. And I go out to dinner by myself and I'm walking around the city and I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I work with a therapist twice a month. I have a dietitian that's helping me lose weight. I go to Pilates reformer classes, which totally challenge me because that is scary stuff. And today I was even impressed in Pilates with how I looked in the mirror because I'm always judging myself. Like, oh, look at all these people. They're so thin and their Pilates bodies. And I don't have a Pilates body. But I was like, oh, but look at all the muscle you have. I didn't cringe when I looked at pictures from this weekend with my friend like I have in the past. And I didn't think about what other people were thinking of me. Now, I still have those moments where I want to hide away. I think that's going to be something I probably struggle with a lot in my life. But now I plan ahead. I plan the hotel stays. I commit to the plans. I booked, I'm going to the Texas Women's Conference this year. I'm signing up for networking groups just to make sure I don't fall back into those old patterns and habits. And I feel like I'm now more aligned with me. The me that I've always wanted to become, that's out there and more outgoing. I'm even dabbling in dating again, although I paused that because that was a horrible, I don't like it. But I'm going to do it again. I am. Because I got to get out. I got to be seen. Lesson number 7, when a dream is on your heart for 10 years, it's meant for you. I feel like 36-year-old me would be like, whoa, you're actually doing it. Wait, what happened? How did we get here? That was like a long shot dream. We had no roadmap to this. But for years, I dreamed of hosting in-person retreats, workshops, and even online group masterclasses. And here I am actually doing it. It was one of the first dreams I had when I first became a coach. And now it's something I do for myself and my audience and for for corporate teams. It took effort. It took intention. This wasn't oh, it fell in my lap. It took baby steps. I started years and years ago, probably around 2016-ish, going live on Facebook weekly. I was hosting online masterclasses for my email list and my social media following. Then a few years ago, I was asked to speak in masterminds and group coaching programs. Over the past year, I've hosted journaling workshops for wellness retreats at my spa job. And I started doing corporate wellness workshops for other companies as well. So yes, it's not consistent and it's not the whole vision. But my vision was to stand in front of people and share my knowledge. And I'm doing that. And I still do have the belief that no one would attend an in-person retreat that I hosted. That's one of my struggles, but I'm getting there. I'm still taking baby steps. I know it's going to take me jumping back in more often with virtual workshops, actively seeking out speaking opportunities. But looking back, I've come such a long way from believing it was possible or even knowing where to start to find these opportunities. And in the end, looking back over the past 10 years, I have stepped into the woman I wanted to be when I had that dream when I went to coaching school. The version of me that stands taller, dares herself to dream bigger, creates her own opportunities, but also knows it's a process, that it'll take hard decisions and setting intentions, that I may feel uncomfortable, of course, but knowing there are tools to help me build a stronger mind, a stronger skill, a stronger body, and stronger resilience overall. Not just in my business, not just with retreats, but in anything I ever choose to do, I now know I have the tools to step into that. I have the tools now. I didn't have the tools 10 years ago to catch myself when I was getting depressed or to know what I was capable of. But now I do. Now I do. And that means that in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, however long I get to live this beautiful freaking life that I love so much, I have what it takes. It might have taken me 46 years to learn those tools and to learn this about myself. But better late than never, right? So I'm proud of who I've become. I'm glad I got I'm glad I got past the last 10 years. I'm glad I'm on the other side of what felt like a heavier and darker time for me. I'm glad I have the resources to say yes to the opportunities I desire. So I celebrate 36-year-old me and I honor her. I mean, she's a part of me, right? She is me. She's a part of me. But I'm also cheering on 46-year-old me who feels less tied down and restricted in what is possible. And I feel like big things are on the horizon because I'm allowing big things to be on the horizon. And I'm totally here for it. I am here. Let's just all buy the bottles of champagne and just be ready for the next 10 years of milestones and big leaps and just becoming the biggest badass version of ourselves. So anyway, those are the lessons that I am taking with me after the past decade. I'm taking them with me into the next decade. So I want to thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey on my birthday as I kind of went through the past, revisited everything. Thank you for being here for my birthday. I am going to go now and celebrate with a yummy lunch and some ice cream, and I will see you all next week. Bye. Hello, lovely. Thank you so much for joining me for the Fearless Female Entrepreneur podcast. I have something special for you today. If you're ready to finally design a life that truly feels freeing, where your schedule and your career, your business, hobbies, and passion projects all blend together into one beautifully balanced, purposeful existence and feels absolutely perfect for you, then you're going to absolutely love my new free resource, the Freedom Lifestyle Designer. It's designed to help you map out exactly what your unique freedom lifestyle looks like, and it'll guide you to integrate every piece of your desired life with clarity and intention. So you can get instant access and start designing your dream life and business by heading over to the link in the podcast description to grab the workbook. And for those of you who are serious about making this freedom a reality, I invite you to book a free 30-minute momentum call with me. Just click the link in the podcast description to book the call, and let's chat about how we can transform your life and business vision into your everyday life experience. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.